Hello and welcome to another Havoc Sons video. Today I'm going to be working on something that came up rather unexpected, and it's going to cost me almost $200. And that is my wife's hybrid. We are changing the starter. Actually, all in all, this car has been a relatively good car for us. And the things that we are changing are those things that you would consider maintenance for the amount of miles it has on it. This car has almost 200,000 miles on it. And it actually has been a very good car for my wife. Very dependable, with the computer-controlled traction. When it's working correctly, it's actually quite easy to drive. The only reason why I say when it was working correctly, because it failed under warranty and we had it repaired for free. She has decided, yes, right before Christmas, to not start. So today I'm going to be replacing the starter on this beautiful vehicle. Well, she is the 2009 four-cylinder Ecotec Hybrid. It has two batteries in it. It has the regular 12-volt battery, which is underneath there. And then underneath the rear seat, as it shows in the sticker, it has a 36-volt battery. You can't see it, but way down below here is the starter. And I am going to be pulling that out. So, without further ado, a wasting of the time, let's do that. Why don't we? Before we go any further, I want to voice a disclaimer. I am not by any means a mechanic, but I do like to do things myself. For starters, you want to take off power. Now, you would think by unplugging this, you're unplugging power to the car, but you're not. This does not disconnect positive to the starter. It is imperative that you unplug the negative from the terminal of the battery. So of course you've got to take off this panel first, and then underneath is your battery, the negative terminal. Yeah, you can see it right there. Just unplug that. Now actually on a Saturn Vue it's fairly easy to do. You see that one little nut right there? Right there, I have my finger on it. That's like a little slip nut. You just loosen that, and that will loosen the mounting off of the negative terminal right there and allow you to pull that terminal off. So basically what I'm doing here is I'm just loosening it. You don't want to take it off all the way. You just want to get it enough to where you can then move the terminal around. Sometimes it's a little difficult, so use a little help. And what I do is I just take this I have this little screwdriver. It has two angles on it. And I just put this underneath the terminal, pry it a little bit, and it pops right up. Now once you've got the negative terminal disconnected from the battery, make sure it's out of the way. And that is going to turn off all electricity to the Saturn Vue. So the starter that I'm going to be putting in is a remanufactured starter that I got from O'Reilly's. There's a receipt. But the nice thing about this starter is it is lifetime warranty. It was a pricey starter. It was $155.99, $12.09 tax, and a $40 core charge. Coming close to almost $170 for this starter. Wowzer. And it's a tiny little thing too. All right, so let's see. So let's take her up. Why don't we? I usually like to do a little safety test where after I put the floor jacks in. I just give the car a nice little tug, and if it feels stable, we're good to go. Lala! What are you doing, Lala? You come to visit the papa? I don't know how yet, but somehow I have to film underneath here to put in this. That's gonna be fun. So I gotta figure out how to set up my camera for that. The things I do for you guys. Hey, currently I'm almost at 400 subscribers, and it's just me. I mean, I basically don't have a clue in life. And I think it's hilarious that people want to be a part of this. I mean, I love it. I'm glad, but I never thought I'd get to 400, much less 100. But I do appreciate you all being a part of it. Now I got to figure out how to set up my camera. Well, like always, when it comes to this car, it's going to be extremely difficult to pull out the starter. I can tell just by looking. Definitely have to come from underneath. I don't know what this thing is, but it's in the way. So I got to get this out of the way. But I know I have to take this bolt out first. Okay, after moving that part, I can clearly see the starter. I'm sorry if it's a little out of focus. But it seems to me the next bolt to remove would be that one. But before I do that, I want to see if I can unplug all the electrical behind it, which is all that stuff right there. So let's see how that goes. The best way I can describe what I'm doing next is, do you see that little clip on that black tube or tunnel thing there? There's a wire that goes into that, and that little black clip is holding out the wire plug in. So it looks like I'm going to have to pry it off somehow at that end. I've come equipped with a little arsenal of tools that I think might help. I'm going to try the little pick screwdriver thing that's closest to us. I'm going to try that first and see what happens. All right, I'm going to set my camera down on a makeshift little stand there. Hopefully you're seeing what I'm seeing. And I'm going to try with my little pick screwdriver. Based on how I think it goes. I think there's a little clip on the top of this plug. And you don't want to break it, because I would think that it would be very difficult for this plug to stay in. Wow, I can't believe that worked. And there it is. Looking at the starter, you can tell a lot. So it looks to me like we've got a nut right here that we have to unscrew, and this is the only one. That takes off the main cable after removing that piece, which we already did. This can also give you an idea of where the bolt pattern is. This one's right here where we can see it. This one here is going to be a little more difficult to get at. It's going to be up above. That's going to be fun. I almost choked myself. Did you hear that? Did it come across in the video? Oh my God, I crack myself up all the time. I crack myself up over the silliest things. Now, I don't know if my hand's in the way. I'm not sure. Bear with me if it is. Basically, what I'm doing is I'm taking off the main bolt that holds the battery cable. I just unscrewed the top bolt for the battery terminal, and I just removed it. So that's all the electrical that's on the starter. So now I can remove that bolt. And then the other one is on the other side of the solenoid. That's gonna be fun.
So let me unscrew that bolt, which I don't need to film that. It's just that bolt right there. I'm just going to loosen that. Let me do that. Okay, the first bolt, real easy to get at. The second bolt is going to be extremely difficult because it is on the other end of the solenoid. The best way that I could describe to get to it, and I haven't even tried yet, so I don't even know if this is going to work, is that you follow the pattern on the new starter. And you see the little bolt right there, little little bolt that goes all the way around. Basically, it's pointing to where the other bolt is. So you would follow that same pattern over there. You can see the nut at the top, directly above this one. And you're going to follow that through and hopefully lock onto it. Now, anytime you use an extension, you lose a lot of your torque power. So this may become a little bit of a problem. The first one is easy to get out, but that last bolt, that's the only one I need to do. So just because it is the last one, it's going to make me go Cro-Magnon here. And I'm going to have unbelievable superhuman strength to get that bolt out. I will keep you posted. I don't know if you can see this, but this ratchet has got a pretty long handle on it. And it also has a swivel at the top. This makes it extremely easier. Is that proper English? Extremely easier? I don't think so. This makes it easier at an extreme level of easiness to get that top bolt out. I suggest you pick one of these up instead of trying to force it via standard ratchet, because you just have there's just not enough between here and the oil pan. So basically, you're going like this, and boom. See? Boom. Okay, that's pretty much it. So I wanted to stop for a minute to show you something. It's so important that you take off the bottom bolt first, and then kind of pull the starter out a little bit, because that helps to apply slight tension to the top bolt, which will allow your socket wrench to then unloosen it all the way. If you try to do it the other way, where you try to take the top bolt out first, you're just in for a lot more work, I think. I found it easier to do it this way. So take the bottom bolt out first, and then take the top bolt out. Now, I switched to a smaller ratchet once I broke it loose, and now it's just unwinding. Now, the bolts are pretty long, and I think the reason why that is because it's going into an aluminum part. So you notice you got a lot of threads there. So you're going to be unscrewing for a while, so just be patient, and it will eventually come out. Okay, I was able to pull the starter out, and you can clearly see the hole that it goes into. So, like I said, the top bolt is a little bit of a pistol, but just a little time and patience. The screws are the same size, but boy, there's a lot of threads there. And I think, like I said, it's because they're going into aluminum casting. So you want a lot of bite. So once you break the nut free, just take your time and slowly unwind it. Again, I found it easier to drop the first bottom bolt and then allow the tension, removing the starter every now and then, to unscrew the top bolt. Well, I wanted to show just a little bit of this. I was able to put the ratchet on the extension with the socket and then reach over the starter and then use those little nuts as a guide, and that got me into the hole that I wanted. Now, the way I did it was I put the nut inside, or the bolt in this case, inside the socket, and then I very easily and very delicately tried to put the bolt into the threaded hole, and it was a little tricky, but I was able to get it in there. And this is all without seeing. This is just all touch. And then I was able to get it, and I'm now actually bolting it down, or tightening it down. So I wanted to show this. Again, it is a very slow process. It requires a lot of patience, and it really is all touch and feel. You can't really see that bolt going in, but it does go in. Again, it's the absolute reverse method from taking it out. First, I took the bottom bolt out and then the top one. In this case, I am putting the top bolt in and then I'm going to put in the bottom one. You can see it all, but the clip is back on and the terminal spade is back on for the cable for the power come to the starter, and the terminal, the solenoid terminal, it clipped on. You don't really hear it clip too much, but you can feel it when it kind of locks in. And the top bolt is in and the bottom bolt is in, so she's all done. Now I'm just going to bring the car down and try to start it. I almost forgot. I have to put this thing back in, and it kind of fits right. Let's see if I can get the camera in to the notch. See that little notch? The bolt goes right in there, and it looks like it's some kind of a valve for the. It looks like a might be for the heater, because it looks like hoses are running into it. So it could be the thermostat for the heater for inside the car. But anyway, you got to put that back on. So that just goes in that little notch right there. Okay, well, it's all put back together. Now I'm going to go ahead and drop it back down. So you want to reconnect this terminal back onto the battery right there. Rock it back and forth, make sure it's nice and snug. And then go ahead and you just tighten that little bolt right there. And that should apply power to the whole thing. And then I should be able to start it. Okay, well, looks like all there is left to do is try to start it. Truth be told, was the starter removal and replacement successful? We will soon find out. Another Havoc's unsuccessful mechanical video. When I really didn't know what the hell I was doing. Like always, thank you for watching. You have a great day and a better life. See ya.